Imagine standing in the middle of a vast desert, sand stretching endlessly in every direction. A wandering people searching for identity, survival, and meaning. And in the center of this fragile society, a strange architectural project begins to take shape. Not a palace, not a fortress, but a tent. According to the Bible, God instructed Moses to build something called the Tabernacle, a portable sanctuary where the divine presence would dwell among the Israelites. But the instructions were unusually specific, not simply build a place of worship. Instead, the text provides precise measurements, exact materials, exact colors, acacia wood, gold plating, blue, purple, and crimson dyes, fine linen curtains, every cubit carefully described. And this raises an intriguing question. Why would an all-powerful, transcendent God care so deeply about architectural details? The instructions appear in the book of Exodus, where Moses receives what seems like a divine blueprint. The ark must be made from acacia wood, covered in pure gold. 2 cherubim must face one another above the mercy seat. The altar must be constructed in a specific way. Even the curtains must follow strict measurements and be dyed with rare colors. But here's where logic begins to challenge the traditional narrative. If God created the universe, galaxies, stars, and the laws of physics themselves, why would he require exact cubits of wood and carefully dyed fabrics? Was this simply symbolism? Or could something deeper be hidden inside the design? Because constructing this sanctuary would have required incredible resources for a wandering desert people. Gold, rare dyes, expert craftsmanship. This was not simply a spiritual structure. It was an engineering project. Let's begin with the wood. The sanctuary required acacia wood, a tree native to desert environments. Acacia is extremely durable, resists insects, decay, in extreme climates. If you were building a structure meant to travel through a harsh desert for decades, acacia would actually be the ideal material. But then the design introduces gold, not just decoration, gold plating. Large sections of sacred objects were covered in it. Why gold? Gold is chemically stable. It doesn't rust or corrode. It also happens to be an excellent conductor of electricity. Some researchers have even wondered if the sacred chest, known as the Ark of the Covenant, could theoretically function like a primitive capacitor, storing electrical charge between layers of conductive material. This idea remains controversial, yet it raises a fascinating question. Were these materials chosen purely for symbolism? Or did they serve some physical purpose that ancient people only partially understood? Then there are the colors: blue, purple, crimson. In the ancient world, purple dye was extraordinarily rare and expensive. It required thousands of sea snails to produce even a small amount. Only kings and emperors wore it. Yet the sanctuary required large amounts of it. Why would God demand colors associated with royalty? Perhaps the sanctuary was meant to represent something far greater than a simple place of worship. Perhaps it symbolized a throne room, a cosmic palace where heaven met earth. Inside the sanctuary was the most mysterious chamber of all, a small inner room where the ark was placed. No ordinary person could enter, only the high priest, and only once each year. Why such restriction? Why such caution? Ancient texts describe the divine presence appearing above the ark as fire, light, or cloud. Descriptions that sound strangely similar to powerful natural phenomena. Could the Israelites have believed they were interacting with something dangerous? Something overwhelming? Something beyond human comprehension? Or was this careful design meant to produce an atmosphere of awe and fear? Because architecture has always been powerful. It's massive temples, towering cathedrals, sacred spaces filled with light and gold. They shape how humans experience the divine. Perhaps the tabernacle was carefully designed to do exactly that. To remind a wandering nation that their God was not small, not distant, but present among them. There is also a deeper psychological layer to consider. The Israelites had just escaped slavery. They were wandering through uncertainty. Their identity as a people was fragile. Building a sacred center could have unified them. It created structure in chaos, meaning in uncertainty, purpose in a desert. The precise instructions may have served another purpose: discipline. Following exact measurements forced the people to participate in something larger than themselves, A shared project that transformed former slaves into a spiritual nation, and yet the deeper question remains: why such precision? Why such rare materials? Why such strict boundaries between the sacred and the ordinary? Was the tabernacle simply symbolic? A powerful visual language meant to express divine holiness? Or could it have been something more mysterious? A physical space designed to mediate between humanity and something beyond our understanding? Even today, the blueprint described thousands of years ago continues to fascinate historians, theologians, and scientists, because it sits at the crossroads of religion, architecture, psychology, and mystery. The desert tent described in ancient scripture might not have been just a place of worship. It might have been one of humanity's earliest attempts to build a bridge between the material world and the divine. And perhaps that is why the instructions were so exact. Because when humans believe they are standing in the presence of something sacred, every detail suddenly matters. But now the question shifts to you. Were these instructions purely spiritual symbolism? A divine lesson in obedience and reverence? Or was the tabernacle designed to serve a deeper function, one that ancient people experienced but did not fully understand? History leaves us with the blueprint, but the interpretation is still unfolding. If you enjoy exploring the mysteries and logical questions hidden within ancient biblical stories, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Because every story we examine isn't just about the past. It's about challenging what we think we know and discovering new ways to understand the world around us.